Yo, what's going on everyone, man? One question I get every single day is like, yo, what was my first phone, right? Was it one of these? Was it any other phones that I have? I mean, I have every iPhone almost. Every single day I get this question, what was my first phone? Now, I can't find my original first phone I had, so I'm not even gonna make that video. I actually ordered that phone. It's a super old one, and I reordered it, and it's coming in. But I want to show you guys the first smartphone I ever had. So the first phone I ever had was like a Java phone. It was touchscreen, but like you couldn't do anything on it. You couldn't download apps. It was like one of those like base phones you would get if you signed a contract. This was back in like 5, 6, 7 years ago. This was like 8 years ago. It was crazy. But I want to show you the first smartphone I ever had. The first phone I was able to download apps. It got me in the world of smartphones in a way, and you'll probably never guess. I don't think any of you guys ever owned this phone before. It's super crazy. I honestly remember having this phone. It's so weird. My first smartphone I ever had in my life was the Huawei U8100. I think that's the name. I honestly don't even remember. This isn't even the same phone I had. I literally had to reorder this one because I had to relive the memory of owning it. And you know, I'll be honest, this phone is not like what I remembered. I do not remember it being this slow. I owned this phone back in 2012, I believe. I think that was the first time I owned this. I think I would say 2012. And let me tell you, I don't even know what version of Android. Did you hear that? I don't even know what version of Android this thing's on. It's probably on like, yeah, Android 2.2. Think about that. And this was crazy because this phone had something that I would never even believe. I'll tell you that in a second. I don't want automatic brightness up. So Android 2.2, this is the Huawei U8100. Let's just look around the body real quick, alright? Now honestly, I don't even know the specs of this phone. I don't even want to read them. I just want to tell you my experience with it because this phone, honestly, as stupid as it may look, as weird as it is, this phone almost introduced me to the whole world of Android. And my first smartphone was an Android device. My second phone was an Android device. My third, fourth, fifth. I had a lot of Android devices before I switched to iOS. I still own Android. Obviously, you can tell I still have a ton of Android phones. But this phone was pretty much the originator. And maybe if I didn't even buy this phone, I would have never started this YouTube channel. Who knows? But looking around the body, we have click home button, I guess. I don't even know what this, I think this is like an OK button. You have an actual like arrow key indicator right here. This actually allows you to maneuver and use arrow keys on the HomePad. Whatever. That's pretty cool. You have a phone button here, right here. You have I guess an end button right there. You have the capacitive keys right there, which is so crazy. Back button, menu button, home button, and the finder thing. Looking at the top, we have the earpiece, we have the T-Mobile logo. Up top, we actually just have the power button and a headphone jack, which a lot of phones don't even have anymore. The bottom, we have the micro USB charging port. The side, we have a volume button. Now looking at the back, what's pretty crazy because this phone actually had a removable back, which I don't know how you get to it. Maybe pulling it down. Okay, so it is removable. And in here, you actually had a removable battery, you had a SIM card slot, and you had a micro SD card slot as well, which a lot of phones don't have anymore, and a lot of phones don't even have removable batteries, so that's pretty crazy. And turning it on, we have that familiar type of craziness of just like sliding to unlock. And I just remember having this phone and I would just be like so obsessed with it because I was like, man, I finally have an Android phone. And what's crazy was I tried to download some apps. For some reason, I don't think the Android market works anymore. They shut it down or something. So I'm not able to use it. I'm not able to download any apps on it, which really does suck. But I mean, like I said, I would just go and I would just be using this thing every day. This was my main device back in 2012 before I switched to another phone. I'm going to make a video in probably like a couple weeks from now, once I get all the phones that I just ordered, about my whole entire history of phones that I've owned. I've owned like maybe like 20 phones personally, like that I've used my daily driver. I mean, I've owned more obviously, but the phones that I've used as my main phones, from like the first phone I had to the newest, I guess, everything in between, I'm gonna make a video about it. And this is the first smartphone. So, and the crazy thing is this thing did not have a front camera, which kind of sucked. But kind of scrolling through, I mean, you can tell this thing was not the fastest thing. Even at the time, it was not fast at all. I got this in 2012, so I think that was the same time that the Galaxy Nexus came out. I think so, somewhere around that time, or maybe even the Nexus 4 came out. I don't really remember. Either the Galaxy Nexus or Nexus 4 came out, which I have the Nexus 4 right here. One of those phones came out that year, and I had a phone like this which looked nothing like that, and it was so like I wasn't even like, I mean, if I had a phone like this now, I'd be kind of embarrassed, but at the time I don't remember like thinking I had the slowest phone or anything. I mean, I did a lot with it. One crazy thing about this, and you're not even gonna believe it, you can research this if you want to, but I was able to, so this phone is not multi-touch, okay? So if you can't, like, it's resistive or whatever, it's not capacitive. The crazy thing was, and I don't even know how this makes any sense. Basically, that was a software thing that was stopping this from being multi-touch. So what I ended up doing was, I think I put Clockwork Mod, or put something on here. I don't think it was Twerp. I think it was clockwork mod that I put, and I was able to flash a package that actually allowed this phone to have multi-touch, which was insane. Like, it doesn't even make any sense now that I'm saying it, but I was able to do it, and I was like, there's no way this is true. But I downloaded the package, I put it on my SD card, and I flashed it through clockwork mod, and I was actually able to make this phone have multi-touch functionality of like zooming in photos and everything on my device, which, like I said, it doesn't make any sense now, but it's super crazy that that's the case. Like I said, this isn't the exact same phone I had. I don't know what I did with it. Maybe I sold it, but it's pretty crazy that that happened. I've never seen something like that before, where a phone is resistive touchscreen or has some sort of hardware thing, but then you can flash something and end up having like a totally different functionality on it. It makes absolutely no sense, but it's insane. But yeah, I had this phone from like 2012 to, I would say I probably had this for like a couple months. I don't think it was a year before I switched to a different phone, and I ordered that phone as well, so that phone should be coming in soon. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the first phone I ever bought. I actually want to show you guys the camera real quick too. Let's take a look at it. And as you probably saw, it took like 20 minutes to open, but this is what we're rocking with. I mean, you can see, and I actually took a lot of photos on this device too. You can't even take a photo or save many memory on this thing if you don't have an SD card, which is like crazy nowadays, but that's pretty insane, man. I mean, like, this is what I was rocking with. And I know it's not as bad. At least I had a phone, you know? A lot of people don't even have phones, but when you compare something like this to like an essential phone, for example, I mean, this thing is crazy. There's like no competition here. Or like an iPhone 10 or even like a Nexus 4. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is pretty old, and I had this phone the same time I had this phone, and I had a Nexus 4 as my main phone too, and I'll make a video about it very soon. But man, it's pretty crazy like how you're able to kind of like go from a phone like this to a phone like this to a phone like this eventually. Like, it's just insane what like you can do in life. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I figured you guys are family. I can show you guys this, and that's pretty much the first smartphone I've ever owned. Pretty crazy stuff, I think, man. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, if you want to pick one of these up, I'll leave a link in the description. No, I'm just kidding. Even if I found one of these online, I probably wouldn't even recommend buying it. I mean, I would buy it just to mess with it, so you can have the same phone as me, the first smartphone, but like, it's such a random phone. And before, I didn't even know this was a Huawei phone, because Huawei's pretty popular now. I think it was probably popular then too, but I think I used to say I never owned a Huawei phone, but that's not true at all, because I have owned a Huawei phone. It was the first smartphone I ever owned. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, man. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button. That'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I would really appreciate if you guys could check that out too. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, Dylan.